While Leanne is out at Addo, and let's go out there now because it's looking very beautiful now. The sun has risen and she's got a landscape that's to die for, and this is what you can enjoy for free during the course of this week, because SANParks week is about free entrance and making sure that you have an opportunity to see nature at its best. Let's go to Leanne, who's been covering the story for us all morning. Leanne?
Very good morning to you, Peter, and good morning to you, South Africa. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Monday morning, 19 minutes before 7 on the program. And what a beautiful broadcast we have for you today. Coming to you live from the Addo Elephant Park, one of SANParks' most magnificent parks. Well, this is its third largest park, one of those parks that certainly doesn't just have the big five. It is proud to announce that it has the big seven. So we're adding in the whales and the sharks into all of that, because there's the marine side that we'll be focusing on tomorrow. We're broadcasting from a lodge called the Nyati Lodge. It's a brand new, refurbished, just been opened, and this is the view and the spot that we chose for this morning's broadcast, and hoping that we'll get some wildlife coming here and we'll be able to show you some of the incredible game that's here. So SANParks week, it's a week where you and I get in for free, anybody that's a South African citizen or holds a South African ID, and the theme for this week is Know Your National Parks. So talking to us here on the program, we've got Hapiloe Sello. She's the Managing Executive for Tourism Development and Marketing for SANParks. It is so good to see you. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you very much, Leanne.
It's a big week for SANParks. It really is. And I mean, I was hearing a bit earlier the fact that 56,000 people took advantage of coming to visit these parks last year during SAN Week, when you could get in for free. So it's working. You're attracting. But are you attracting the right people? That's what we need to know.
Well, I think, as the CEO said earlier, we are seeing a change in the diversity of visitors that come to our parks. It's gradual. It's not fast enough, and we need to make sure that a lot more people from different walks of life in South Africa, different races and different age groups, come and enjoy our parks.
Yeah. Yes. It is important to tap into every group, because there is something for everybody, and that's something perhaps that we need to get the message out. I mean, if people perhaps don't want to come and they don't have the money to book accommodation and come and stay, even though there are a wide variety and different prices. I mean, for day visitors to come in here, what sort of things are they able to do?
Well, for example, in most of the parks you can hike. We have walking trails, we have hiking trails. In some parks we have adventure activities like not bungee jumping, zip lining.
Yes.
Well, we'd love to have bungee jumping, zip lining, paragliding, but that's spotted across the parks. There's a whole lot of other activities, including game drives that people can take around our parks and get to see the beautiful and the wide array of wildlife that we have.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, working on more activities, I can imagine that's something you want to tap into, is to make South Africa, which it is, but to tap into it even more, this adventure tourism and also this experience tourism, because I think people really want something more than just coming and seeing. They want to experience, which is important. So is it an avenue you're looking at and exploring more?
Yes, circumstances are making us look in that direction a lot more. We have done research where we found that people are saying they need more diversity of activity in the parks, especially young people. They want that adventure side of things. They want a bit of adrenaline pumping, and then we're looking at another type of experience as well. We're looking at a more spiritual element to the parks, and we are currently researching the launch of something called eco healing, which is to spend time in the parks just to focus on your soul, restoring your soul and being in touch with your spirituality. So watch this space. We have more coming in a few months.
That is going to be incredible. I think a lot of people would buy into that, and certainly you couldn't find a better environment to do that in. Just finally, when you look at numbers, and you also look at local versus international, overseas travellers, how are we looking? I mean, is it still, obviously, I mean, I know that international visitors want to come, they want to experience the parks, but locals, you know, that's the big market for us, isn't it?
It is indeed. Domestic tourism is absolutely critical. Everywhere around the world, domestic tourism is what keeps the tourism economy up. We get about 75% of our visitors from the locals. So we get a lot of support from domestic tourism. And that's why this is very important that we share this kind of free access week, because it's all about stimulating domestic tourism and saying to South Africans, this is your heritage. Come and enjoy it. It's there for you. It may not be as expensive as you think. Come and find out a little bit more about what we have on offer.
Fantastic. Hapiloe, thank you very, very much for talking to us. Good luck. Now, there's something I want to show people, because I know you and I were chatting off air about this naughty little guy who has found a home here. You may know him, you may recognize his name, Sylvester. Now, Sylvester was a lion who he actually lived in, where was he staying?
Sylvester originally was in the Karoo National Park, yes.
And he escaped, and he landed up eating, let me eat this, 28 sheep and a nguni cow and a kudu before he was caught. Yeah. And then he decided to escape again. He thought, oh, this is nice, you know, I like this. I get to eat a lot better outside the park, so let me escape. So he escaped twice, and then they said, no, Sylvester, we're moving you to Addo. And now he lives here. He hasn't escaped yet, has he?
So far, so good. So far, so good. I think the elephants are keeping him in check.
Okay. Well, here's an insert. We went to go find Sylvester, and let's see if he's behaving this time.
Sylvester the lion is being kept in the Kuzuko property, a contractual piece of land in the Addo Elephant National Park. Although he is still in a relatively small boma, he is looking quite relaxed and already at home.
We honestly believe that it was a social issue why he was breaking out there. He needed his own mate and his own coalition, and what we did is we brought him here, and very soon after bringing him, we always had the two females as well in the camp that were close to him. So, and then recently, about a month or two back, we brought in a young male to bond with him, and that's gone extremely well. So we've given him that social interaction that he requires. And it's, like I said, it's going well, and it's just a matter of time before we open up the two males, Sylvester included, into the bigger camp with the two females. Yeah, the two females are quite unique. They just over a year, 2014, December, they were in dire straits. They were about to die, and we had to intervene. The mum had been killed by most probably a snake that had bitten her, and we then intervened and found these three emaciated little cubs. A reason why we intervened, we thought they were good genetic stock, and normally we don't intervene in a situation like that, but we did. Put them into a boma, and since then two females came here and one male was left in Addo. They've done extremely well. Initially we were worried that they weren't going to be able to capture their own prey. Just recently they caught their own kudu. So the wilding process, as far as those two females are concerned, has gone extremely well. And it's ideal two females to join with Sylvester and the young male as well. Sylvester always wanted the interaction and needed that social bonding. And as soon as we introduced the young male to the boma, it was within days that they started showing affection towards each other. And incredible amount of games they play down in that camp. It's a 50 by 50 meter hectare camp. And often you see Sylvester being chased by the youngster and vice versa, Sylvester chasing the youngster. But like cats are, they often lie on top of each other, and you see them fast asleep right next to each other. So they've bonded extremely well. So it's important to us that we don't be too hasty about releasing them. We want to make sure that Sylvester really has bonded with the young male and with the two females. So there's a process now. We've got two males in the bigger area that we also need to remove. We don't want them being pushed out by Sylvester and his newly formed coalition. So for now, he will be released out of the camp towards the end of the year. And we'll see how that goes, how the bonding with the two females, and they'll form a pride of 4 animals in total. And once that is successful, we will also assess it on a day-to-day basis. But in early March, I would expect that Sylvester and his newly formed pride should be released into an area of about 8,000 hectares.
Hopefully this time around, Sylvester will not try and escape again and go on another adventure. If he continues to bond and form a new pride, he will have more than enough space to roam around once released. Linky Beerman, Morning Live, Addo Elephant National Park.
Oh, there you go, Sylvester. So at the moment, he's not integrated into the park, but he will be. He's just, I suppose, going to be there in about 6 months' time. They're hoping he'll be able to roam around and stay within these boundaries this time. Well, when we talk about roaming around, he's got a lot of space to roam. Addo covers about 180,000 hectares, stretching from the semi-arid Karoo area in the north around Darlington Dam, over the rugged Zeeberg Mountains, through the Sundays River Valley and south to the coast between Sundays River Mouth and Bushman's River Mouth. That's about the area that we'll be broadcasting from tomorrow. Plans are currently afoot to include the proposed proclamation of a 120,000 hectare marine protected area as well. So this is massive when we talk about SANParks, and this is the third biggest one in the country. Well, let's talk to the park manager, shall we, for Addo Elephant Park. Zwandile Mjadu is our guest here, and it's such a pleasure to have you on the program. Welcome.
Good morning, Leanne, and good morning to all the viewers.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the most beautiful parks that we have. I mean, they all have their own unique charm and their unique beauty. But what's special about Addo from your perspective?
What I see as being special is that Addo is 85 years as we speak old. Started in 1931, saving 11 elephants on a 6,000 hectares of land. Today it has grown to 180,000 hectares, which is a great achievement. Addo is really the third, as you have said, the third largest park amongst the cluster of parks within South African national parks.
Yeah. I mean, when we look at accommodation in this park, we're broadcasting from a beautiful area called the Nyati Lodge. I think it's a new lodge in this park. It's just been refurbished and done. But I mean, how many people can you accommodate here in Addo? Is there quite a lot of accommodation options?
We currently have 88 units of different types, from safari tents to chalets, cottages, and family cottages. And this is a release of 11 units.
Yeah, which is great. So I mean, you're able to accommodate quite a few people coming into the park.
Definitely, we can accommodate. We've got about 244 beds, and we're adding 26 more.
Yeah. The plans of expansion. Talk to me about this one, because I mean, this sounds really good. A proposed proclamation of 120,000 hectares of the marine protected area.
On the terrestrial side of things, I think the park has grown over time, and I think it's now the right time getting into the marine section, expanding it from 13,000 to about 120,000 hectares. I think our intention, once again, is to conserve the fisheries side of things.
Yeah. But I mean, we talk about the fisheries, we talk about the marine, we talk about Sylvester, but let's talk about the park's namesake, and that being the elephant. I mean, this is a huge population here in Addo. I mean, what are we dealing with when you talk about the elephant population here?
From the 11 elephants in 1931, they've grown up to more than 600 as we speak.
Wow.
And some of them are on contraception at this point in time as we grow the park.
Yeah. What attracts them? I mean, what is it about this particular terrain, this area, that is so great for elephants?
I would imagine it's our, is it well-known spekboom? You have the valley bush veld thicket. And it is the valley bush veld,
and that's what they're loving.
That's the association, they love it.
You know, one thing I am seeing here is I'm seeing that the park is looking quite green, it's looking lush, as opposed to, I mean, for instance, we'll give the Kruger as an example, where a lot of the wildlife are struggling right now due to the droughts that are ravaging that particular area and other areas in South Africa. What about here?
We seem to have been very fortunate in the Addo area. The drought has not struck us as much as the other parts of the country. And just the day before yesterday, I think we have been experiencing rain, and I think last week. So I think we are the luckiest in that respect.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That is good to hear, because it's a sad story that's coming out of the Kruger and many other parks as well. What about that issue? And it's a very thorny issue. It's a tough issue to talk about. But rhino poaching, I mean, it seems to be one of those things that affects every park. But Addo, how are you managing it?
Thank you, Leanne. That is a thorny issue and one wouldn't want to talk about. But yeah, Addo, one is glad to say we have never experienced an incident of poaching. We've got a ranger corps of more than 70.
Okay.
And every night, day and night, they're out there doing patrols and ensuring that our rhinos are saved.
Yeah. All right. So it's a hard job trying to protect the wildlife here.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Well, listen, thank you for hosting us. We're looking very, very forward to experiencing the park and moving away from here down to the coast. And I think that's going to be quite an experience as well. So thank you so very, very much for chatting to us.
Seeing you there tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
I can't
Leah.
wait for it. Mzwandile Mjadu is the park manager for Addo Elephant Park, this most magnificent park that's here in the Eastern Cape. It's about, I'd say it's about a 50-minute drive from Port Elizabeth, moving in the direction of Grahamstown, and it is an absolute pleasure to be here. It's stunning, and I think one of the nicest parts is we never ever get to experience things. I mean, people think, you know, you get to travel and see. I do, but then it's literally packing up, getting into a car and driving back to the airport. The wonderful thing is today we're getting to experience this park and bringing you another live broadcast tomorrow, which is I must say an absolute treat for us and the team. It's lovely. All right, so let's get you a weather update. Looks like it's getting a bit cloudy over here. I'm not sure if, no, we're not going to get weather, but I can tell you about the weather. I'm not sure if it's hot or cold. I'm still undecided. I'll let you know in the next hour. Maybe I can decide, and we'll get you a weather update then as well. Let's take a break here on the program. The news with Peter after this. Stay tuned.